This video is made for adult collectors and is not intended for kids. Lugnut seems to be in the eyes of a lot of people today, winning both the Hall of Fame this year and being one of the toys people want in Legacy so badly. Lugnut has had two real major toys in the past, this and the Reveal the Shield one, which the prices are way too much for me to spend on a Voyager right now, so I'm just being patient. But I went for Atomic Lugnut because I love the deco more, and this was $30. He's so squat and bulky, I love it. I really like the way the proportions are. He looks brutish and menacing until you put him next to any other toy and you realize he's so small. This was the biggest complaint about this figure when it came out, and it still is kinda, and that's that he's too small for Lugnut. Lugnut was a big, hulking dude in the show, and this toy form, he's smaller than Blitzwing, which he shouldn't be. I love the metallic green they used though. It's not paint, it's actual plastic, and it works so well with the goldish yellow that they use, which on the window chests, by the way, it's a clear insert into those goldish plastic pieces, so the part separation looks fantastic. He's very wide, and one thing about this guy is I see a lot of listings of him on eBay with his arms off. They do come off at the ratchets and they are meant to click back into place. Mine though kind of falls off a lot on this side. They were both detached when I got it, but they just click back into place. But yeah, this one kind of comes off too easily. I really like the bomb hands. I just wish that he had the punch of kill everything gimmick in it, like the Reveal the Shield one. And mine has this pin hanging out there. Don't know how the previous owner got that there, but at least the arm's staying on, so that doesn't bother me too much. Legs are very basic in comparison to the rest of the toy, but they do a very good job at keeping the toy upright and stable thanks to those tiny little heels that fold out. He does come with an axe thing. It's supposed to have a gimmick where you plug it into the hand, which unlocks the gimmick, then you press it against the table and it springs open. But because mine's used, it's busted on the inside. I just need to take the time to open it up and restore it. But it's a cool gimmick. It's a huge chunk of the plane though, so it is parts forming, and I know that will bother some people, so it's worth pointing out. So that's all pretty neat, right? And he's articulated as well, but he's missing one crucial joint that really does bother me. And that's the lack of anything at the head. There is no side to side at the head, like at all, and I'm pretty sure that has to do with the fact that they made the turret spin underneath. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, it doesn't. That does bother me. But the arms, squeaky ratchets. This one sounds better, but they do a full 360. They can go out about that far. You do have a bicep swivel, a double jointed elbow bend because of transformation, and the fingers can open and close. You can also just use these to push it forward, which is really nice. Nothing at the waist, kinda. You can untab it and get a rotation, but that looks stupid. I wouldn't do that. Hips can go forward, they can go back, not that far. This also kind of gets in the way a little bit, but it's part of the automorph, so yeah. They can go out. You can actually do the full splits, which is nice. You do have an above the knee rotation. It's out of focus. Above the knee, and then the knee bend is in a weird spot. It's not here where you would think. It's at that screw, so it bends a bit strange. It looks a bit weird. The knee pad moves, and then the feet. There's no tilt or up and down because it wasn't really the trend at the time. But you can point the heel spurs down to get him in sort of like a foot forward position, kind of. And they're sculpted at an angle, so you know, he can do the A stance, but they're pretty planted because of those heels, so he stands quite all right. I don't like the head. And it looks like there's supposed to be light piping in here or something. There's a piece of clear plastic right there. So I don't know if there was light piping or not, and then they painted the eye over because it looked bad, but it is what it is. Usually when they have light piping and they paint the eye over, it's because when they get the first test shots in hand, they don't like the way that the light piping looks, so they paint it over. Because sometimes it can look terrible, and I feel like with Lugnut here, it would have looked pretty bad if they had just left it unpainted, because that color is just solid nothing. So I'm glad they painted the eye. It looks nice. But yes, that is the articulation. Again, the arm does come off a little too easily, and I think that's why this one squeaks a lot. So that's just something to watch out for. The toy's transformation is very simple. It's such a good fidget conversion because you don't really have to think about it. You just go for it and it flows. Love how the feet tuck away into the jet, and it does something really satisfying when going back into robot mode. When getting the head deployed, all you do is bend this back flap and everything just fits itself into place so nicely. It's the smoothest piece of automorph I've ever handled. Like, I repeatedly do this at my desk over and over because it's just so satisfying. That's a really nice jet. That's a very nice jet. It's so cartoony and looks like it belongs on a screen, yet it's in my hands. I guess that's true really with most animated toys. It's just been a while since I've messed with one. I like all the green and black, they just work. However, while I prefer this deco of the character in robot mode, I think the original deco works better in jet form. The purple and green just kind of work better than this green and black and weirdly yellow color. He does have rolling landing gear, so you can drive him around if you so desire, and all the turrets rotate, which is a nice touch. I was expecting them to all be static. My figure's tail fins are bent because they were sitting at the bottom of a bucket in a store for ages, but I can fix that with a hairdryer. I'm just too lazy. Again though, the issue of size is still here. He's a big bomber plane, but he's small compared to other figures. Like, I don't have any other animated toys out at the moment to show you in comparison, but he should definitely be better than Legacy Blitzwing if you wanted a Lugnut to be proper size. It's not as undersized as the robot mode looks next to any other figure, but it's still a little undersized. I do like this thing though at the end of the day. It's fun, it's solid, the joints are very fluid even though it was used. It's just neat. But if you want a Lugnut to look imposing, this isn't really the one for you. While it's fun, it just doesn't have the presence of Lugnut on the shelf. That probably goes to the Reveal the Shield one, but again, I don't have that. But if you want a cool and fun animated toy, then I would definitely recommend this. Just don't pay $50 for a used one. I see that a lot, and it doesn't feel nearly as worth that. Like the 30 bucks, it feels worth it, but 50, that's probably pushing the limit. But that's my look at animated Atomic Lugnut. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.